Hello everybody, let's talk about Ugly TV show once again. And this time we are going to complete our session from yesterday because yesterday we ended up on the point where Ugly and his manager Bubble got kidnapped. But what happened before? The event actually was simultaneously taking place with Ugly's current girlfriend, Triana, managed to basically get Ugly a showcase with some, influence with some really affluent people in the music industry. And she agreed basically that Ugly would come to, introduce his song. This is the opportunity he would never miss, but things went wrong because Ugly and his manager got kidnapped by Sevishious, and Sevishious is the current rival of Ugly, and basically they kidnapped him because Sevishious learned something about Ugly's career and his music, and he found this song. And this song specifically made Sevishious kidnap Ugly because he liked that song basically, and he basically asked Ugly if he can make like performance and if he can really just perform this song on his birthday. But he asked him because Ugly has this debt with Sevishious, and Ugly is in trouble with Sevishious, so he has no choice but to perform this song. And this song is not even like in final stage, it's not even completed, but they agreed that he will perform this song on Sevishious' birthday. And next time basically they were not kidnapped, but they agreed just willingly enter this van and just go to Sevishious' party. And Sevishious basically is a guy who has business like a restaurant, and behind this restaurant happening all dirty work of criminals like Sevishious, and he is not even hiding his activities properly because every security at his birthday basically has a gun. And at gunpoint, anybody would sing, anybody would perform anything just to stay, safe. And this is exactly what Ugly is gonna do. And he even got his musicians, he got even, all the crew he needed to perform that song. And at the same party, basically, Sevishious was introducing them his like own dish, and it's called ceviche as well. It's like popular Latin, dish, and he basically made them eat it. He made them basically eat the dish, and he made it clear that if they don't like it, he will force them to eat it basically. So his basically personality is just so, insisting sometimes, and if he wants something, he will make sure that everybody would obey because there is nobody who can just go against him. So he basically made that move before that performance to make sure that Ugly and his manager Bubble, they are scared enough to fuck up this concert. And this is his birthday basically. So he made them scared enough to fuck up, by manipulating with this dish and by telling Bubble, his manager, that you cannot add just some random sauce to my dish because this ceviche is just good enough without your sauce, so don't make me regret, or keeping you alive, So he made them scared enough, and after that they went on a stage. They went on a stage to perform the song that Sevishious basically requested. And ironically, this song wasn't really just a good song, but that became Sevishious' favorite song because he requested again the same song multiple times. And he's not gonna stop just after a few, performances, because he wants to hear this song again. And all the crew members, they already have their fingers bleed, and basically they keep playing because nobody just can stop, because everybody's just scared. And this moment at the same time, ridiculously funny, but you understand that this is like just a crazy guy with money and connections, coercing someone and making them basically do something against their will. So this is not really good, but in this comedy, Sevishious plays a huge part, and he's showing basically how all the things happening behind the scene of hip-hop industry. And he is the guy who basically has some connections with huge label, but he's doing the work that no manager or director of that label would ever do. And basically he is threatening Ugly and Bubble, his manager, after that performance. Basically he found out that Ugly recorded some D's, and that basically was so outraging. Like, the D's itself wasn't against Sevishious, but the D's made Sevishious, mad, because Sevishious basically gave Ugly some money, huge amount of money, but he found out that Ugly basically spent that money on something like this, just stupid this, and claiming that he is a king of the street and that he is a new boss of this, neighborhood. So this is, of course, pissing off Sevishious, and he even, threatening to basically cut Ugly's finger. But he's playing this game again because he wants Ugly to pay back his debt. He wants basically Ugly not only to pay back his money he took from Sevishious, but he wants basically Ugly to be under Sevishious and his team. Basically he wants to keep everything under control because he feels that this guy Ugly has some talent, and if you're not just putting him under yourself, if you're not controlling him, at some point he will go against you. Once he gets some connections, some good connections, he can go against you, and that would be like so unnecessary. So he is trying to prevent it from happening. And Ugly and his manager Bubble, they basically have to pay back the debt, but to pay that money back, they need basically to find it. So there is not like too much options, and the only option they came up with is to steal some to basically go to some other rapper, some other musician, and to steal from him some things that have value. And basically that guy is Trippy Bacha, another musician who is established and who is rich, and he has a label. He basically has connections, and he has a lot of things, expensive things, and they basically putting some stuff like NFTs or something like this, and they investing in a lot of things. So he has some valuable things, and Ugly is going to steal that. But to steal that, he needs basically to steal this key around his back, because this key is from that room where Trippy hiding everything that is valuable. And basically every valuable thing in his collection represents somehow his brand, his personality, because this bear specifically is a statue of Trippy, and this bear is just, the embodiment of his career and his style, and he is that type of a rapper who is more like a, romantic type of music. He performs a little bit different music that Ugly does, but at the same time they are going to introduce their first feature, and they recorded this song basically before Ugly and his manager got kidnapped. And at this party, basically Trippy representing this song, and this song is going to be a hit, but this song needs to be released, and the music video needs to be released to basically to blow up, to make it worldwide, and to expand this collaboration. And basically the only thing they are missing, as I told you before, they need basically to get rid of that debt with Sevishious. So Ugly's manager Bubble is trying to get that key, and he actually came up with a good idea that he can just arrange that key for some dirty stuff, like and of course there are drugs involved when we talking about when it comes to very famous and rich artists. There is no TV show that would not show you something like this, because this is just inherently there. And we are going to discuss the moment where Bubble basically was already clean because he was addicted. He basically has a huge addiction to drugs, and he is going to go against the fact that he is clean right now, and he is going to basically use some of that, because this is the only way he can steal that key. And this is about how loyal he is to Ugly and his crew, basically, because he is really willing to stop being clean and take another shit to get this key and to get basically Ugly out of trouble. So he compromised his basically mental health and everything for this key. But this party went crazy after everybody got wasted, basically. And while they were basically, doing crazy stuff, Ugly went to steal the statue of Trippy. And he stole it, basically. And now the only thing he needs to do is to pass that thing to Sevishious to pay back his debt, basically. And at the same party, basically, he ran into Triana, his crush, and his, not officially, but his girlfriend, because they were already, hooking up. And at some point he ran into her, and he forgot that she basically agreed with some really, big figures to showcase Ugly in his music. But he fucked up. Basically, he didn't show up. And this is just happening throughout this season multiple times. In season 1, Ugly fucking up every opportunity, whether it's his girlfriend or his friend or, whoever is trying to help him, he's fucking up that opportunity. But it's not because he is not, wanting that. It's because he is just having so many issues with other guys, like criminals, like Sevishious. So she is not just Ugly is not just trying to, he's not just trying to basically bite more than he can chew, but he is just so poorly at managing his time, and when you are an artist, you need someone like who's really just can get everything done, and make some schedule or something. But his manager is just himself so fucked up, and Bubble basically is the least organized manager. So when you have manager like this, like Bubble, who is just getting wasted in every party, and this is the only way he can basically taking control of the situation. So when you have manager like this, it's hardly believable that you can just, put together all your, all your business, because this man himself just needs to pull together. But Ugly is still with him because the loyalty, of course, and all his crew basically is trying to break into the top of the industry, music industry, and they are just loyal to each other. And at some point he feels like Triana is willing to, get to know him better, no matter how much he fucked up. He feels that she has something for him, and she is somehow not able to hide it. But Trippy found out that his trophy, his bear, his loved statue was stolen, basically. And of course he immediately recognized that that was basically Ugly's work. At the same time, Ugly was already basically exchanging that statue, with Sevishious guys, and in return he will get his safety, and this way he can pay back his debt. But he didn't realize that this thing basically worth even more than he was basically then he basically had to pay back to Sevishious. Basically this thing was worth basically way more than that was. And basically Bubble told him that you could have basically got way more money, for that thing, but it's not even like a case. It's not the case because there is no problem with Sevishious, but they didn't know basically that that bear, the statue of Trippy, wasn't even original one. And once they realized that they basically gave Sevishious, a criminal, the fake statue, they basically gave him something that worth nothing because it wasn't original statue. And Trippy basically told them that they revoking every release, they stopped doing any song together, and they stopped doing collaboration because of Vgly stealing that from Trippy. So now Vgly is not only making this collaboration impossible, but he put basically his life at risk because Sevishious is now after him and he is going to kill him. This time Vgly is really fucked up. He's fucked up because he has basically Sevishious, and he made a fool of him by giving him that fake statue. But he managed basically to get away with this because his friend who is working on Sevishious helped him to escape, and by helping him to run away, basically he put his own life at risk because this is something Sevishious would never let go, and of course this is something he would basically pay, he would basically pay with his own life for letting Vgly, run away. But the only person who is now not involved in any shit, not involved in any troubles, is Vgly's girlfriend Triana, and who is can basically help him. At least he can basically go somewhere, and this is the only place where he can basically hide right now. And he went to Triana to basically make some, he basically made up with Triana after fucking up that opportunity that she agreed. And she agreed with some people that Vgly would come and show his music, but he didn't. And basically this way he made her basically somehow look like a fool, because when you're working in this industry, like music industry or whatever, every word you can give to some affluent people, it should be backed by action. So Vgly fucked up because the action needed was just for him to come up and to showcase his music. But she is basically forgiving him, and she is making it clear that she has more than just, professional relationship, because she feels like there is something bigger than that. And he even gave her this ring that Vgly basically stole that ring from Trippy together with that statue basically, and there is the same sign of that bear, so you can easily just recognize from whom he stole that or from where he got that. But Triana didn't know about that, and Triana basically working together with Trippy. At least she is working on the same label. She knows Trippy, and they working, you know, in the same community. So despite that, basically they hooked up that night, and that was basically the first time Ugly really, got close with Triana. And after that, basically the only way he could have escaped getting caught by Sevishious is to go missing, and this is exactly what he did. He ran away, and he even basically ran to another city or something like this. At least it looks like he is, in some outskirts of the city where he was before, and he is hiding there, and with his, old friend or something like this, who is helping him right now. And at the same time, basically, his crew already agreed that they basically releasing the song. And without Ugly, they agreed that they will release the song basically to make him come back, because this way they can basically bait him, because Ugly is so easily coming back, where basically he's coming back easily when it's a good time, when when everything just about him. And of course, when he sees just that the video is just blowing the social media, and he sees that he's getting some recognition finally, he is going to come back. But not only that contributed to him coming back, there is another opportunity came out of nowhere, because some other rapper, Lil Vato, who before basically was kind of mocking Ugly and got even some beef with Ugly, but later basically he asked Ugly if he can perform together with Lil Vato. Basically, Lil Vato requested Ugly to perform together on the stage on his concert, and basically Lil Vato made even official request. He asked on social media. So this way basically Ugly has no choice but to come back, because there is some big rapper just asking you to, perform together. So this opportunity is just, of course, not something he's gonna miss. But there is another trouble with Sevishious waiting for him. And after he came back to the shop, which is Speedy Mart, the other Speedy Mart that he's working at, and initially at the beginning of season 1 he was working at another Speedy Mart, but this is like another shop where he's currently working, because he needed some job and he was forced to leave the city because he was hiding from Sevishious. But they found him basically, and now he's going to basically run again, because he's not only putting his life at risk, but he's putting everybody who's working with him at risk as well. And he realized that and ran away, and basically his crew found him as well, because they were able to find out his location. And he escaped due to his team, including Triana and everybody else. And at the same time, basically this was the first time when we saw how his famous girlfriend, established pop star Triana got jealous because she basically witnessed that another girl just hitting on Ugly, even though it wasn't directly flirting, but it was something that made Triana jealous. And this is an important moment because in season 2 there will be something bigger, because in season 2 we have already another character, Antonia, and she is gonna be that love interest of Ugly, and she is gonna make Triana, she's gonna make Triana even not jealous, but she's gonna break them up, because this is what I understood from watching first 2 episodes. But that was just the beginning of their relationship, and there wasn't that big of a deal. She got really just a little bit jealous, but finally just they got together again after he went missing. And Triana's manager, who was basically she was ready to publish everything that Ugly and his crew prepared, for release. She was basically ready to sign Ugly with her label. She was ready to accept Ugly, but Sevishious basically told his guys to go and threaten Ayo, Triana's manager. If she is signing Ugly, she will inherit all his debt, and that debt will be inherited by her. That debt basically will pass to Ayo. If she signs Ugly, she will pay back if Ugly fucking up, So this way, basically, of course, she is gonna reject Ugly, but she is willing to accept the rest of the crew. But this is not something they are going to accept, because they are not going anywhere without him, because this is everything about Ugly in his performance, because he's the main voice of this crew. And the TV show just, about him. And basically, he went to that concert to perform with Lil Vado, who requested him. And he used that opportunity, but he should have been realized that by going to that concert, he is basically directly teasing Sevishious. He is teasing him to come and just to finally retaliate, because this is just public event. And by going there, he probably already knew that after that concert everything can happen. And this is exactly what I expected, from this event, because after that, basically, he got shot 3 bullets. He got shot 3 times, and this moment exactly the same as from the beginning of the season 1 when his friend was shot. And at the beginning of season 1, his friend was shot and killed. He died after that. And the season ending on the same point, like at the beginning his friend got shot, and at the end he himself got shot. So this is like repeating the story repeating itself. When you go too far, you will face something like this, and he faced basically something he was trying to escape so long. And after that, basically, this is the setting for season 2, which is already airing, and I'm going to show you another part where I'm going to show you more when we get more episodes of season 2. But thank you for watching, and see you next time with more ugly show.